Here is my audience. Okay. Good morning, everyone. History is like a puzzle. Imagine trying to complete a puzzle with only half of the pieces. Even if you manage to connect what you have, the picture will always be incomplete and possibly even misleading. This is exactly what happens when we study history from only one perspective. To truly understand the past, historians must examine events, artifacts, and narratives from multiple cultural viewpoints. Without this, we risk misunderstanding not only what happened, but why it happened. My interest in this topic comes from my own experience as I'm currently studying history at Angelo State University, and I've spent a lot of time researching and exploring museums and historical artifacts. Through that, I've seen firsthand how much deeper and more accurate history becomes when we include multiple perspectives. Today, I want to show you why this matters by looking at history from different viewpoints that help improve accuracy, bring attention to certain voices, and reduce bias while correcting misinterpretations. First, multiple perspectives can improve accuracy. For example, historian Sam Weinberg, a professor at Stanford University, explains that many early historical narratives were written from a limited Eurocentric perspective. Because of this, important details and viewpoints were often left out, leading to incomplete or distorted historical interpretations. A clearer example of this is how Christopher Columbus was traditionally taught for years and portrayed as a heroic explorer who discovered the New World. But when historians began including and researching and interviewing indigenous people and perspectives, a very different story emerged. One that included violence, exploitation, and suffering. By adding these perspectives, historians didn't change history, they just made it more accurate. Without multiple viewpoints, we are not seeing the full picture. And if we don't see the full picture, we can't fully understand the truth. This leads to my second point. Multiple perspectives help bring forward certain voices. According to historian and anthropologist Michael Rolfe Truitt, people in power have historically controlled how history is told. This often results in entire groups of people being left out of the narrative. For example, women's contributions in World War II were once largely overlooked. Many people didn't realize how important women were to the war effort. However, research from certain institutions, like the National World War II Museum, has shown that women played a critical role in factories, logistics, and support systems that helped win the war. I've personally experienced something like this, especially when visiting museums that focus on specific groups, like women during World War II or other underrepresented communities. My understanding of history expands as we look into perspectives like this, and you start to realize that what you learned before was only part of the story. By including these voices, history becomes more inclusive, more human, and more truthful. Finally, studying multiple perspectives helps reduce bias and correct misinterpretations. For example, the American Historical Association emphasizes that historians improve the reliability of their work by comparing multiple sources rather than relying on just one. When only one perspective is used, bias is almost guaranteed. Similarly, research highlighted by the Smithsonian Institution shows that understanding the past often requires combining different disciplines and viewpoints, whether that's archaeology, anthropology, or cultural studies. When we rely on only one viewpoint, we risk accepting a version of history that may be incomplete and even incorrect. But when we bring together multiple perspectives, We can identify biases, challenge assumptions, and build a more balanced understanding. In conclusion, history cannot be fully understood through a single lens. By examining multiple cultural perspectives, we improve accuracy, give a voice to those previously ignored, and reduce bias in how history is told. It's my hope that after hearing this, you understand that history is not just a collection of facts, but a collection of perspectives. And the more perspectives we include, the closer we get to the truth. Because just like a puzzle, history is only complete when all the pieces are finally put together. Thank you for listening.